Down unpaved dirt and gravel roads, near Janzen family farms and the small Zion Mennonite cemetery, surrounded by farmland and virgin prairie, sits the property of Heubuden. The house itself comfortably fits 15 people at Christmas, though year-round, its residents are John and Reinhild Janzen, retired professors of medical anthropology and art history, respectively. There's a pond for ice skating, rafting, boating, fishing, and swimming, and islands in it for bonfires, goose egg hunting, mud fighting, and exploring. There's a zip line, a sewage lagoon, a jungle gym and swing set, and a shed equipped with power tools, plus ever-expanding treehouse projects, the most recent aspiring to be a Swiss Family Robinson-esque metropolis on the pond's largest island. The pseudo-wilderness cloaking the property, the pond, creek, trees, acres of cropland and prairie grasses, are prone to glorification in the minds of the many kids who have lived or visited Heubuden over the years. The ubiquitous spiders, hawks, geese, cats, cattle, howling night coyotes, and occasional mountain lion live here too, some outside, and some, like the daddy longlegs, basement black snakes, and gnarled old cat Gracie, inside. At vacation times, the extended family, John, Reinhild, their children Bernd, Gesine, and Marika, their spouses, Christy, Robert, and Ben, and their grandchildren, Clara, Henry, Max, Calvin, Felix, Hannah, and Emmeline, live here together. Meals, preceded by the reading of prayers or singing of traditional hymns of the Mennonites, pacifist Protestants, are served 3 times a day. Art and cultural artifacts populate the walls and tables in proper frequency, never cluttered, yet never absent. Books line the walls, one of the most recent additions, a compilation of diary entries and letters from John's alternative service work in the Belgian Congo and subsequent road trip up through Egypt and the Middle East to Germany. This is Heubuden today. It's early in the morning on December 22nd, and neighbor farmer Derek Klingenberg is driving his family's 18-wheeler to Janzen Family Farms, where 27 tons of Janzen organic soybeans will be loaded into it to take to the local organic processing facility, FeedX. Derek's dad, Vernon, helps with the loading process. When the loading is done, Derek drives the loaded truck through Janzen Family Farms. Vernon, Max, and Clara hop in and begin the 45-mile drive to the Amish town of Yoder, where the processing facility FeedX is located. They drive down the road, passing the house and ponds on the left.
We've left Janzen Family Farms and we're going to Yoder, Kansas, which is 45 miles away, and we're hauling a load of organic soybeans to take to there to process they flake the soybean and they sell them to organic dairies and various other things.
That's what this is?
Yep. I graduated from high school in 1962, and I've been farming ever since. I farmed for 40 some years with my dad, and then he passed on. Now I farm with two of my sons.
Then, Vernon explains the history between the Janzens and his family, the Klingenbergs, that currently custom farm the Janzen land.
Parents, but my dad's family came to Elbing from West Prussia, and my dad was 9 years old, and 3 and 1 was the other two brothers, and they came to Elbing, and the Janzens had a home for them to rent, and that's where they lived, and they appreciated that a lot. And the Janzens helped them quite a bit, along with other people. And then as years went by, my grandpa worked for the Janzens, and then as years went by, the Janzens gave them a half section of land to rent. And the Klingenbergs have appreciated that ever since.
After about an hour's ride, they approach the town of Yoder.
Oh, there's two more buggies right there. Oh my goodness. I've never seen them do. We're going to go on the scale, but we're not going to go on until they tell us.
Once at FedEx, the truck must first be weighed, then the soybeans unloaded, and then the truck weighed again to determine how much soybeans were deposited. Inside the facility, employees and machinery work to process grains.
We're at FedEx, not FedEx, we're at FedEx, you know what I mean, and we're about to drop off 27 tons of soybeans.
Beans. We're here at the building here where they all natural grain comes, and we're unloading our beans here. We'll store them over here, and then they'll haul them over to the other side here and put them in that steamer, and they'll flake them, and then they'll go out to the dairies and so forth.
Once all of the soybeans have been unloaded, Vernon drives the truck back outside where it will be weighed again.
Yeah, we're all going to get out, weigh empty because nobody's in when we weigh full.
And then the
minus the weight of this truck.
Stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Sign. You were at 84,400 pounds and you're at 28,480. You want the yellow copy or the brown copy?
Whatever one you give me.
Then, to end the morning of work, they head to the local restaurant Carriage Crossing to eat pie.
Okay, well, let me tell you about Herman Janzen, which would be your grandpa's cousin. He would, in the wintertime when his nose ran, he would go like this. He'd blow out one side, then he'd blow out the other side. Wipe it off. Wipe it on his jeans. And if he was at Elvin Green, he'd do that outside. And he'd come in and then he'd just eat peanuts. Right with the same hand. And nobody else would eat after that.
Janzen Family Farms is about half a mile down the road from Heubuden, and it can be seen in the distance from the pond. The name Heubuden isn't random, it's a reflection of its inhabitants' heritage. Heubuden literally translates to hay sheds in German. a village developed in Prussia, modern-day Poland, and was given this name of Heubuden after the hay sheds there at the time. Later, a Mennonite congregation from this Prussian village of Heubuden migrated over to the U.S.
We decided to nickname this place Heubuden. Großmama, your grandma, and I agreed that this was appropriate, but we didn't want to, put up a big gate and fly the banner, or so to speak. So it's been a kind of informal nickname, but it has this illustrious background, this history. The name Heubuden refers to the hay sheds of the Teutonic Knights in the Vistula Delta flatlands. These hay sheds are between basically west of the Nogat River and in the region that the Teutonic Knights first reclaimed from the swamps in the 12th century, and when they were destroyed by the Lithuanian-Polish alliance, the swamps took over. During the time of the Reformation, the Polish counts and royalty invited Western European refugees to come and settle in those swamps, and the Huguenots, the Jewish people, and the Mennonites came and settled and developed communities in that swampland. And in one of these regions, a village was attached to this name, Haysheds. And so in that village, or in that setting, many years later, one of many Mennonite congregations in the area came to be called Heubuden, or this name of Haysheds. When your ancestors, Clara, came to the United States in 1880 or so, this name, Heubuden, was around as a place of their origin. Some of the leadership of this congregation came at the same time because they were basically fleeing Prussian military conscription. And when this leadership group came with about a third of the congregation in the 1880s, that congregation and German Mennonites basically accepted military service and the role of military in their lives. Whereas here, the name Heubuden continued to stand for a kind of resistance to military conscription and a certain kind of adherence to the gospel of peace and loving your enemy.
Tying into the Mennonite narrative of their home, John and Reinhild attend a Mennonite church in the nearby town of Elbing. Now, they, their children, and their grandchildren attend for the Christmas Eve service.
I see many of you here joining us from the community or otherwise visiting. As one of the co-pastors of Zion Mennonite Church, I extend a warm welcome to all who gathered on this special evening.
Later on in the service, the family participates in the ceremonial lighting of candles, as the children eagerly wait to leave church and go home to open their presents, per a German tradition of opening presents on Christmas Eve instead of Christmas morning. A description of Heubuden would not be complete without a description of the artwork housed there. Reinhild, fluent in English, German, and French, and John, fluent in English, German, Plattdeutsch, French, and Kikongo, have both spent extensive time abroad conducting research, mostly in Europe and Africa. Their research has taken them to Germany, Poland, Russia, Congo, Sudan, South Africa, Rwanda, Paraguay, and more. Most recently, in 2014, they spent 3 months in Luozi, a village in western Congo. Through their professional lives, their friends, Reinhild's voracious appetite for art, their daughter and son-in-law's careers as artists, and Reinhild's father's passion of print collecting, Heubuden houses a museum-like collection of art and artifacts, such as this print of Reinhild's father, this painting, a gift from an artist from the Congolese capital of Kinshasa, this print made by daughter Gezina, and this painting, acquired in a trade, with John building a fence for the artist in return. Literally hundreds of pieces exist in the house.
Actually exactly 103 years old. We moved it from a nearby little town of Elbing in 1972, and so we have lived here since that time, over 40 years now. As you can see in my house, I love art and I have an interesting collection that accumulated over many years. The artifacts, like from Africa, are from our travels there and when we have done research there. And my principle is I like to find things that people use that are very typical, reflect their life. People, like the basket maker in the village where we lived in the Congo, I knew her, and so then her basket is more meaningful to me than if I just buy it on some, tourist market. So over a long life, things, come together in our house. And then my father was a collector of prints. And so a lot of the prints that I have, like lithographs or woodcuts or etchings or engravings, that were gifts from my father over the years. And then Clara, your Aunt Gezina, is an artist and she has given us some of her work, right? And so we also treasure her work, and then we have some artist friends, and so things come, accumulate over time, and I love good art. This is a hand-colored woodcut that a friend of my father's, an artist friend, gave him in the year that I was born. This is an image that celebrates new life despite war and despite destruction. So this is very much my background because I was born right into middle of World War II. Grandpa and I were in Sudan, and we were visiting the pyramids at Merowe, which are very, very, very ancient, and there was a little cellar sitting down in the sand when he saw us. And this is what women receive as a wedding gift, and it's carved of wood, and when you open the lid, you can smell. This is where they keep their incense that they burn to make things smell nice, but also to keep flies away. So this is a very standard wedding gift, and you can see that this one was used because you have, sort of these black grease marks all over it. What I love about it is that it sort of echoes an anthropomorphic shape. I think of this as the head and the torso and the body. This basket right here is quite extraordinary. That is from the Sudan, like the others, and that was a gift by one of Grandpa's graduate students who worked in Sudan, and it's a milk container that women use.
Now it's going.
I think it's going.
Whoa.
I don't think we need it, actually.
It's taller than me.
It's New Year's Eve, and the family has migrated from the house to the pond, where, on their last night together, they're celebrating with a bonfire. They'll return for the Christmas festivities at Heubuden again in 2 years, and then and again in 4 years, continuing in such a tradition till something comes in the way.
Hey y'all, this is Farmer Derek. Shout out to my friends at Eleanor Roosevelt High School. I'm out here with Clara doing some drone filming. Follow me on Snapchat, FarmerDerek1, for some funny farm selfies.